Yes, I did warn about this not a long time ago. It looks like Europe is in shock since because of what happened last week. The new American national strategy document released, right? And shockingly, for some people, not for us, I suppose, if you watched my videos for the last few months, you know, I was exactly what I was saying is going to happen. Americans decided to sort of dump Europe. It's like, yeah, it's okay, but I think we're going to move on. And they do. Americans decided that Europe is not their priority anymore. And if you think about what Europe became, it's hard to be surprised, really. I mean, would you like to have a business partner who is crazy? Would you like to have a family member, a friend who's crazy? No, but that's who we became, Europe, collectively, as all, including UK, which is still part of, which now apparently they're even thinking about rejoining the Europe, which is like, okay, whatever. At this point, really, whatever. Because you see, up until last week, I was more optimistic about potential solutions or options we might have here in Europe. Right now, because of what happened last week, I think there's only one option left on the table for Europe to move ahead and not to be completely destroyed by the partnerships of superpowers, really. And yes, the only option right now for Europe to stay relevant and maybe try to do something is to actually join the conflict. What do you think? Do you think there's anything else we can do? I don't really think so, and I'll tell you why in a second. Also, coincidentally, today, I'm recording this video on Monday, you're probably watching it on Tuesday, there's an urgent meeting between the UK, France, Germany, and I don't know if I can say it on YouTube, you know, the country which is involved in the conflict. Surprisingly, again, I'm very surprised by that, right? Oh, sorry, no, I keep saying about this. There is no Poland taking part in this meeting. So for all of you who are still naive and now thinking it's okay, it's just the way, because I think 2 weeks ago, Poland was not invited to Switzerland when there was already some talk going on. So for all of you who are still very optimistic and you still think this is a good thing or normal, if you're not part of the conversation and making a deal, you are a deal. That is the reality. I mean, if you're a Polish person, you should know it from history, because Poland is always ending up exactly like this. And I've been saying this for like more than a year, I think now, or at least 6 months. This is what is going to happen if Poles will carry on playing the stupid games. They will win stupid prize, which is being part of the deal decided by behind their backs. But it's not about Poland, this video. I'm tired of talking to Poles because they're all getting triggered whenever you say reality, and then reality just smash their teeth in front, you know, punch them in the face, smash their teeth, and they just disappear. Because trust me, I won't see all of you people from last week. Only last week, a few days ago, I posted a video about Poland not being serious. Right now, it's actually materializing in front of everyone, and people commenting under that video, obviously lots of triggered Poles. I guarantee you, they won't be around here now. They just disappear and they just forget. But politics do not forget, and this is reality, and this reality will catch up with Poland very soon. But like I said, it's not about Poland, it's about Europe. By the way, I have a baby monitor here because my little one is sleeping, so if I have to disappear for a second, sorry, I'm just obviously not edit it out, but I'm trying to multitask. I've got a little time in the morning to record this video and still look after my kid. So it's about Europe. Up until recently, I thought Europe might still have this chance because maybe, you know, there's a shift in the politics across the whole continent. But I think there's no more time. Unfortunately, we got to the point where there's no more left time. We have no time. We don't have time to wait for whoever comes next into politics. Right now, we as Europeans and as people in the UK, we're being governed by leaders who literally have like 1-digit approval, maybe like 15%, the biggest ones. You have to think about this. This is the democracy they're trying to save so much, right? And it's all destroying the continent in the name of democracy and protecting ourselves. But we're being governed by people who's got literally one-digit approval from the people they're trying to govern. This is the clear contradiction. Like, this is the most ridiculous thing ever, but that's where we are, right? So up until recently, I was still thinking people are waking up slowly, or even not slowly. There's like anger, right? Everything is just about to pop off. But there's not enough time for that. And European leaders now realized, they could have they tried to protect, they were maybe imagining this is going to go a little bit different. But I think last week the document, it was a clear message saying, hey, we are done with you guys, people in Europe. You crazy people, you either get your shit together or you just good luck. And as you know, or if you do not know, then there's a deadline in that document which says that Europe has got 1 year, 2026, to just get completely independent from America when it comes to defense, which is completely impossible, right? It's not going to happen. So now, you see there's a deal going on behind the scenes between Americans and Russians, deciding the partnerships or whatever. It doesn't even matter if it's going to go through or not, because what it actually matters is the actual message sent across officially saying, look, we don't care about you. Now, if you see on the side of a Russian side, they will, of course, they understand, they get the message, say, okay, the protective, the umbrella the Europeans were hiding under for the last 2 or 3 decades, it's basically being taken away. And apart from sending strongly worded statements and debates, Europeans can't do shit, because we proved this over the last 4 years of this conflict. Nothing happened, nothing whatsoever, including countries like the bordering with the conflict, right? It's like Poland. Nothing has been done whatsoever. Of course, yes, sorry, they signed a lot of deals for whatever, right? It's like, okay, that's fine. I'm tired of talking about this, like explaining these things. Let's move on. So for European leaders, apart from Poles, because they still don't see it, because I read Polish Twitter from Polish leaders. They still, I think from today, there's this Polish advisor to the president, so officially involved in politics and the country, well-being of Poland or the future, saying, Americans, you should reconsider it because that's not in your interest. Okay, how about Poles stop telling Americans what's in their interest, and maybe let's look back into what's in Europe's interest, because I think Americans, looking back historically, I think they'd be all right. If I had to put my money, I would put on Americans rather than Europe. Definitely not on Poles. So Europe, you see, they're more serious leaders, still, the ones with single-digit approval, but they're still serious because they're not stupid. They act like this maybe sometimes, they do stupid things, but they are calculated things for their own crazy ideas, okay? But they're not stupid. They've realized this is it. This is the end of the road. Now is the show time. Now is the time to take ownership of whatever there is. All the craziness we built around ourselves in Europe is now to be fully implemented, okay? There is no more, you can't, up until now we've had this politicians believing they can just do crazy things. They can allow the continent to just implode by raising taxes, introducing regulations, over-regulating everything, driving capital away, driving innovation away, driving people away. Keep coming with the new, more ridiculous agreements and regulations for the environment, saving everything, while every single serious country on the planet is doing the exactly opposite. Europe thought it's going to be just for some. I can't understand the reason. Apart if you do not explain it with some conspiracy theory, there is no real reason to explain it. There's no good explanation, in my opinion. They thought they can go with it because they were protected by the Americans, right? Because the NATO kept saying since many months, like, guys, NATO has been built so long time ago, never tested. Like, you can't rely. Okay, keep it as a plan A, but you're gonna have to have plan B and C if you're a serious person. This goes with business. We're like everybody normal with the 2 brain cells. Have at least 2 options always on the table, right? If I go into business, I don't go all in, say, yeah, well, it's going to be somehow. Like, that's dumb. That's what Europe did. And we ended up, and look, everybody with eyes could see these things coming. It was not a rocket science, but there was this reasons unknown for us. Politicians in Europe decided to just carry on with the stupid, shitty ideas they had. They put us all into place where we are now. Now, the only way out is to actually destroy that agreement between Russia and America. And you can only do it by actually joining the conflict. Europe has got no power whatsoever to decide for themselves anymore. For Americans, in my opinion, regardless of what happens next, it's a good deal. You see, that's the whole tragedy, because for Europe, either solution, either way it's going to end is really bad. For Americans, whatever happens next, if it continues or it stops the conflict, it's a good deal. They will make money, they will continue growing, because they're focused elsewhere, as they told everyone last week in the official documents. So what Europe did to itself, it committed this, I don't want to say this word, you don't say this word on the YouTube, they did that in front of everyone while punishing everyone else like you and me, who would even think about, maybe question. Obviously, I'm not nobody to be concerned about, I'm a small guy. But if there was somebody with kind of my thinking high up in the society, they would be punished. They would be called conspiracy theorists. They would be thrown to jail. They would be whatever, right? It's like, you don't do that because it's not going to happen. And it is happened now. I predicted this in my video a few months ago. You can go and watch it. I said next 12 months are going to change the world, and it was my prediction. And one of the main one was the Americans will refocus their attention to Western what's the word? To above Americans, right? They will remove themselves from Europe as a priority. They will not be here for many reasons. It was obvious for me to see it, and they would just refocus on what they can control, their part of the world, so South and North America, in order to prepare to proper the conflict maybe is too big for now, but in order to try to rebalance powers between China and America. That's the only possible way to do it. You could not do it with Europe, and obviously it was so painfully obvious for me, because Europe has got nothing to offer to anyone. Everything and everyone was moved out from Europe. China's not interested. Last time I can't stand these two running European Union, these two leaders. They went to China. They were sent a bus. They traveled on a bus from the airport to meet some Chinese politician. They don't care. They openly showing disrespect, because that's what we in Europe actually deserve. This is what we brought upon ourselves. It's not Americans are being mean to us. You have to understand. It's like, and you have a crazy business partner, and he keeps doing crazy things, irresponsible things, destroying his own life in front of you. You have to, at some point, pull the plug and remove yourself or that partner from the whole picture. Otherwise, that person is going to put you down with him or with her to the bottom. You don't want to do that. And if you're smart enough, as Americans are, then I'm surprised, I'm shocked it took them so long. But it's obviously happened because the previous government in the America had a different idea about the future of the world, so to say, which was super destructive, right? But that's exactly what we are here, because they've managed to change the course, like sort of direction last minute, but we haven't. We're just getting more and more drawn into this nonsense, the moving sands we cannot get out of. There is no peaceful solution to what just happened. You can't, Germany's economy is destroyed, Europe's economy is destroyed, British economy is destroyed. Poland has got no economy. They think they have, but it's just like, built on strong EU economy, which is gone. So no way, no means of defending themselves as countries in Europe. You can't defend yourself if you are not connected too closely to the Americans, right? You have to have them for all of these things, right, in order to be protected. But that's gone now. And you see, this is a message for the other side, Russia, and say, hey, okay, go on then. Do what you want. Let's focus on our deal, because we don't want this. These guys are crazy. Let them teach them their lesson. And that's exactly what we need. We need to be taught the lesson. Unfortunately for us, and I've been warning about this for a long time, obviously me warning people on YouTube can only affect you guys watching me, so you can prepare yourself for it. I have no impact on the government, obviously. Nobody's watching from the government, right? It's not going to listen to me. Or maybe they should, but people like yourself, and this is my reason, is for me talking to you about problems I see and I talk about, is to so that's what I go about my life. You have to understand, me being on this channel on YouTube, it's not some sort of, I'm not an influencer type of guy, right? I might get there, and yeah, probably will, maybe even like next year. But the influence is through the actual me doing things and living life I'm talking about, right? I'm not a guy sitting here, I'm going to do something so they're going to like it. It's like, no, it's my idea about the world. And sometimes, quite often, it works well. So I'm trying to share the message with you guys and see, maybe you want to open your eye to my potential observation. And that might actually add some value to you. So I could not change the world, but I could change maybe your perspective of what's happening across Europe and the world, and what you see in the mainstream media. If you listen to politicians, if you listen to what they're talking about, it's an absolute garbage. It's absolute rubbish, and you should probably do the opposite. Funny enough, I think last video I had this comment, somebody saying it's a wisdom of a crowd, because I recorded a video about people living, the immigrants, integrated immigrants, and young natives are leaving their countries, particularly in Britain, right? And somebody meant well, but he said, or she said, a wisdom of a crowd, they know what to do. Now, you see, this is exactly what does not exist. There is no such a thing as wisdom of a crowd. Crowd is the dumbest thing ever, okay? You can read a book about this. I think there's a Psychology of the Crowd, very good book from the beginning of the 20th century. French guy that wrote it, very good. It just shows you, like, we independently, individually have a wisdom, more or less, we know things. And then you ask each other, say, would you do it? No. Would you do it? No. Would you do that? Yes. And then you put all these people together and you can steer them like a toy. There is no wisdom in crowd. Crowd is irresponsible. And this is where we are as Europe. So if you see everybody's leaving, it's probably not what you want to do. If everybody's telling you Poland is doing amazing, move to Poland, it's probably you don't want to do that either. If you're hearing that, hey, all politicians in Europe saying it's amazing, we're going to do it, then you probably should look the opposite, okay? Trust me on this. If you want to learn one thing about life from me, it's like, if you see crowd running to one idea, whatever that is, doesn't matter what it is, 99.9999%, they're absolutely the opposite way. Okay, they're absolutely wrong. You should do the exactly opposite thing, or at least think about or look at the other way. Maybe where they're running is actually, you don't want to be there. And that's where we're ending up now, because everybody in Europe was just this super optimistic, and then NATO is going to protect us, and the Americans, this is never going to happen. We're going to stay here because we've been allies for 80 years. The European mindset is so crazy. They think, again, as explained in one of my previous videos about Poland not being serious, they think emotions are a leverage in the business or in politics. They think they can just steer the future of a country and politics because they say, think about this. This will not align with your vision, with your values. Think about this. This is not a democracy we've been fighting for over the last 80 years. Okay, maybe that's not it, but we moved on because the world's changed. That's the politics of Americans, of Russians, of Chinese. They look into what's good for them right now, not what was 80 years ago. Who cares? Do you really think America's going to look, okay, because a bit sentimental, but let's destroy our country too so we can actually hold hands together with Europeans when they go down? Nuts. And that's exactly that's the core politics of Europe. Let's pretend we can save the planet. It's going to be so green that we're just going to be eating grass because there'll be nothing else growing, because won't be able to afford anything. There'll be no farmers. We're destroying our farmers, businesses, innovation. We call it freedom of speech, and when you say something, they're going to throw you into jail. You have politicians, unelected politicians with single-digit approval, running the show for us, which is clearly taking us to the cliff. We actually right now jumped off that cliff. You have to understand, we are not even going towards the cliff. We already passed that cliff moment. We are just on the way down. The question is now, what is down there? What are we going to hit? We're going to rock? Is it going to be a rock? We're going to hit it with smash our faces? Or maybe there's some sort of, I don't know, like maybe a bit of water so we can actually maybe not just get smashed completely. Maybe we'll survive it. But in order to survive it, you're going to have to, countries now need to refocus. And I think that's what's happening across in London today. It's the panic mode kicks in. They will say, again, that's me just, that's my opinion, okay? That's my prediction sort of. They're going to talk about what's the next step. They need to get involved into that conflict somehow in order to be back into relevancy again. Okay, if you want to be relevant, you need to put yourself in the middle of it. Or they're going to make a deal saying, okay, you take something from Europe, but I don't think it's going to work. Even if they would decide that, okay, Poland, you take, I don't think so. They're going to have to try and destroy that deal. And the only way to do it is from the inside, from the actual going in and just pulling the plug and just making it so chaotic that your only hope is going to be, at the end of the chaos, there will be some sort of hope and business for Europe. And make no mistakes, French, Germans or British politicians, they do not care about any of it. They just care about staying where they are. And now the chaos is coming. So I think, unfortunately, we don't have now, there's no more time to change the course. There is no more time to, I think just today, I was reading on X, the EU just putting another tax or something. There's more taxes, right? There are more regulations. There's taxes or car parts. Like the car manufacturing industry is absolutely dead, just destroyed. The most beautiful, best cars around the planet for like decades, they're absolutely destroyed. And they're just bringing more taxes in car parts, into more regulations, into not using electricity, which we know every smart country is literally making, how can they build small nuclear plants so they can actually power their own business and tech off it, because we need so much electricity. But in Europe, we're going to think we're going to just sit in the sun and just eat flies because that's what they want from us. Absolute insanity. And that is it. And the worst thing is, whatever motives for these people are, which is unbelievably something I can't comprehend with a normal mind, if you don't want to go into some bloody reptilians or something, theories, it will not end good for anyone, especially for these people. They will not be sitting somewhere in a high castle in destroyed Germany or England thinking that, you peasants eat grass and I'm going to be sitting behind a high wall and just enjoying it. No, because everything affects everything. Like, we're living in so connected times, particularly tech. If you do not have tech, you're going to be living, it's going to be like 300 years difference between developed countries and undeveloped Europe. Right? You're going to have tourists coming over and staying in these protected cars and looking at all of us sitting like, we're going to be like, look at these cavemen, these cave people or whatever, right? It's like, that's what Europe's going to be. And it's not going to be, okay, maybe you will be a king of the caveman tribe, while at the same time, on the other part of the world, they're going to be flying rockets to the space and, traveling underground or something like insane. And this is what we already put out on ourselves. Don't think there's a way out. In an easy way out. The only way out is through pain, and I'm worried that our politicians are going to bring exactly that. And I have no solution to it. I have nothing to offer you right now, unfortunately. Staying or leaving, I don't know. But it's it. That is a time when the road ends. No more can kicking down the road. It's like, either this happens or some financial crisis, I don't know, or maybe all things happen together. But this is it. This is as far as we can go, pretending it's all good and it's going to be somehow okay. Poland is going to be absolutely smashed one way or another. All of the Baltics as well. I think Eastern Europe countries will suffer most. Western European countries will suffer different things. It's going to get messy. Anyways, if you like this video, please do leave me a like, consider subscribing. If you agree or don't agree, please do leave me a comment, just be respectful. If you're a triggered Polish person, just don't. I really can't keep explaining these things. Just sit back and watch. I guarantee you're not going to have to wait long for things to unfold in front of you guys in Poland. And then, when these things happen, please come back and tell me how great this GDP of Japan is going on in Poland, or the tanks we ordered from South Korea, or here, or this amazing, undefeatable army of Polish brave soldiers is going to just stand and... oh, God, man. Anyways, if you can't see these things up until now, I'm sorry. If you can't or you don't want to see it, I'm sorry for you. You're going to have to go through what is awaiting ahead. If you do know, try get ready. I'm actually going to prepare something for the new year. I think I have an idea to prepare something for the new year. how to prepare for what's coming. It's probably going to be we're already in the middle of it, so it's not going to be like there's not much time to just get ready. We should have been getting ready for the last few years, but there's still things we can do, and I'm trying to do it, ready by the new year, beginning of the new year. So hopefully there'll be something for you there. This week I'm going to release something else for you as well for Christmas if you like something super cool. I think something super important to have. But that is it for today. Stay positive, optimistic, but grounded and open eyes, and be realistic. It's bad. It's really bad. So yeah, have a great day. Cheers.